Hey there YouTube, this is Parker from Teamshockwaves and welcome to another episode of What Is. Today's episode is going to be based on the new archetype that's coming out in Duelist Advent, and that is the Tellaknight. So all the monsters in this archetype are basically light warrior monsters, and every member of the main deck cards are just basically named after the brightest stars in the Earth night sky, and the Exceed monsters are named by the asterism. Asterisms are just basically the formulation of those stars coming together as one. So you see a little comparison when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh term, where you have some of the main deck cards are exceeding together to be forming as one, which is the asterism. This archetype is very similar to the Constellars. With their artwork, with their name, and even with their playstyle. It is not shocking to see why. The Tellaknights are basically asterism, and the Constellars are constellations. So they're very similar up in the night skies of the Earth atmosphere. And astronomers find them very similar in the way with their formation to group together. The only difference is that asterism is much a smaller group compared to the constellation. Like I said before, all those Tellaknights are basically similar to the Constellars, even with their playstyle. And their objectives is basically perform a rank 4 summon as fast as possible to get the Exceed. A lot of the Tellaknights effects activate when they're summoned, so that's normal, flip, and even special summon. Most of the Tellaknights share this similar effect where when this card is summoned, you can only activate this Tellaknight's effects once per turn. Alright, so what we had here is some Tellaknight monsters from the set Duelist Advent. I'm focused more on these cards than the rest of the archetype, just because this is what came from Duelist Advent, and Duelist Advent is the first appearance of Tellaknight, so we'll focus more on that and the cards that's gonna see a little more play when the cards comes out in TCG next month. So let's get started with these monsters. First of all, we have Altar. He is basically the breeze dragon of the deck. His effect is every time this card is summoned, you're allowed to sort of summon a Tellaknight monster from your graveyard in face-up defense. While you activate this effect, other monsters besides Tellaknight monster cannot attack. So that's something to keep in mind. Also, like I mentioned before, the Tellaknight share the effect of they can't activate that specific effect more than once per turn. So again, keep that in mind. Next, we have Tellaknight Deneb. Forgive me if I pronounce the name wrong. I'm not very good in pronouncing these monsters' names. So Deneb here is the Stratos of the deck, and it's very simple. When this card is summoned, you're able to search for a Tellaknight from your deck to your hand. That is it, and also same condition. So here's the last card I think people will be playing in the Tellaknight deck once it comes out next month, and that is Tellaknight Unukuli. Its effect is just basically a Foolish Burial. Summon it, and you just send a Tellaknight from your deck to your graveyard. So that's pretty much it for the main deck cards. 3 is not seeming like much for archetype, but I'm pretty sure there'll be more out in the future. There is more inside the set of Duelist Advent, but I don't see much of a use compared to these 3 when you can play multiple of 3 of them. Alright, so we're here on the Exceed monster, and it's the only Exceed monster in Duelist Advent for the Tellaknights. So he is Tellaknight Deltros. It takes 3 level 4 Exceed monster to get him out, so that's pretty high to pay, especially for a 2500 attack, 21 defense monster. And he has 3 effects. First effect is a continuous effect, and it says that when you have a material on him, every time you normal or special summon, when your opponents cannot negate the summon of a Tellaknight monster. This is pretty good. Second effect is basically an ignition effect, and what you need to do is detach one material off of it, target one card on the field, and destroy that card. Pretty simple. And then the last effect is the trigger effect, and it said that when this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you're able to special summon a Tellaknight monster from your hand or deck to the field. That is pretty amazing for backup effect, especially when something goes wrong. The only way you can get around this effect is if you remove it from play instead. So pretty hard to get around that, but with D person at 3 now, I think it's more likely that there's a harder chance of this effect being activated. So that's pretty much it for the video. Overall, I really like this archetype. It's, again, even though it's very similar to Constellars, I'd like to see the difference between the two. It does show some little bit difference, and it might show a little bit more with the news with later support in the future. I know in the anime they already showed the duelist that's playing the Constellars. It would be very interesting to see the duelist, if they ever have one, for the one that's playing Tellaknight. And it would be a very interesting matchup between the two with just because of their interesting background connecting to one another. This is Parker from Teamshockwaves, signing out.